Hey guys, welcome to Horror and Me. I'm your host Darren Mitchell, and today is the daily number 6. I'm sorry I'm still here at work. I have some people in the middle of a training right now. They're watching a training video, so I figured that I would do my daily today at this point to make sure I got it up today. But I want to say thanks, guys, for continuing to follow these daily vlogs and submitting your questions. So I'm going to first start off, and we'll just talk about the questions that were asked in the daily 5 and respond to them now. So the first question I received was, when was the last time I played Nintendo 64? I set up my Nintendo 64 about, I don't know, a year ago. And was playing Mario Kart with my wife. Also, I have GoldenEye, so I played GoldenEye. I play that. I bust out and set up my N64 every once in a while, just specifically to play that. But other than that, I haven't played it for about a year because I have my emulation system now with the Raspberry Pi, so it's just easier and more convenient to set that up and play N64 games on that. So up next is, where is a haunted house that I've been to? Um, I've been to local haunted houses around here in Lancaster. We have Field of Screams, Jason's Woods, stuff like that. I tend to go and see them every few years because they don't really change too much. But some cool places that I have been is I live pretty close to Gettysburg, and I've gone out and done Gettysburg ghost tours a few times, and they're always really really creepy. Somehow they just kind of work it in with those tours to really give you kind of a chill. Gettysburg, as a lot of you guys know, is one of the most haunted locations in America. And there's a lot of stuff that went on with the Civil War and a lot of different locations like the Confederate stronghold, stuff like that are really interesting. Also, a lot of really cool shops are just kind of based in myth and ghosts and stories like that are really cool. So I'd say probably Gettysburg is the coolest places I've been to. Up next is, what horror character do I feel is misunderstood? That's a weird one. The typical answer would be to go with like a Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers, that sort of thing, just because they don't talk. So I'm trying to think. Somebody else. I don't know. I would say, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like another slasher that would be misunderstood. I don't know. I feel like Jack Torrance from The Shining is kind of misunderstood. Obviously, because of just the way the movie plays out and that sort of thing. I just think that as he was going through The Shining or whatever, and he was starting to get a little crazy, like people didn't really understand. That's kind of what made the movie a creepy film. So I'm just off the top of my head going to go with Jack Torrance. Somebody asked me what's my favorite Friday the 13th film. I've answered this many times. My favorite is Part 3. I think it's the best one. I also think it has the best music. I've just always been in love with Part 3 and then the 3D version of that. Just really love it. I watched it recently again on VHS when I got it, and it's still spectacular. It's my favorite. After that, I'm not really like a purist when it comes to Friday the 13th. I'm really obsessed with Freddy versus Jason. And I also really like Jason X. What's one of the scariest places I've ever visited? Here in Pennsylvania, where I'm near, there's something called the Seven Gates of Hell, and also something called the 666 Bridge. I've been to both of them. The Gates of Hell there's a story behind it where it's like there's 7 gates that lead through the woods, and apparently nobody's ever gone through all 7 gates because apparently at the end of it you get to like a psychiatric hospital that's been abandoned for years, and they say like the ghosts and the spirits of those people that used to be there are haunting the woods. When I was about 18 years old, I went with a bunch of friends and we started doing this thing, and we made it all the way through the 5th gate. Once you hit the 5th gate, you have to cross a river. And it was in the middle of the night when we did this, so we never went past gate 5 because we didn't even know there was a river there that you had to cross. It's the only way to get across. So we've never done that. At one point, maybe again, I will try it now that I know that there's a river there that you have to cross. And then there's something called the 666 Bridge that is local around here, and there's a story about a daughter that lives in this house up on the hill by the bridge that actually went down and hung herself underneath the bridge. If you go down under the bridge, this is something I will show you guys at some point because it is really creepy. There's a lot under the bridge, like carved in the wood, is a bunch of like symbolism and a bunch of like crazy witchcraft stuff. And apparently what you're supposed to do is you go into the bridge, you open up all your windows, and you take your keys and you stick your keys on top of the roof of your car, and you're supposed to just sit there. Apparently you can hear every once in a while like the little girl's cries and that sort of thing. It is really, really creepy. The last time we did it, I was probably 20 years old, something like that, and we went with a bunch of friends, and we definitely heard stuff. Now, we don't know if it's like just the mystique of us all being there at the same time and just us all kind of being scared and wanting to hear something, that we've kind of talked ourselves into that we did hear something. But we definitely went underneath the bridge and photographed a lot of those carved in etchings and stuff like that that are under the bridge. It's just really, really creepy. So at some point, I will go there and I will show it to you guys. What are the 3 most expensive items in my collection? That's a difficult one. I haven't really thought about that too much. I'd say for sure is the human skull that I own. That's probably one of my most expensive. As far as like a collectible, my sideshow busts are pretty expensive. My warrior alien, it's my warrior alien bust from Sideshow. I think that's like $1,000 piece. I also have the big chap one. That's probably like a $600 or $700 piece. I'm trying to think of another expensive. As far as like an action figure, I'd probably say some of my rare DD pieces, like my Salem's Lot piece. Some of the other ones that have come out recently, like the 2-packs and the 3-packs of the Halloween 3 are pretty pricey. My Hoggle 2-pack NECA with Jareth and Hoggle, that's probably one of my most expensive pieces. So that's what I would say. Somebody asked me if I played Grand Theft Auto. I do not play Grand Theft Auto. I did years ago on PlayStation 2, I believe it was. It was either PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3 when they did the San Andreas one. That was the last time I played that game. So again, that's been years. I don't really play video games as much as I used to. Again, when I do, it's usually retro stuff. Then somebody asked me for the last question, what are my tattoos and what do they mean? So I do have a bunch of tattoos. I have a bunch on my legs. I can't show you guys obviously right now, but I can show you the one on my wrist. This is in Greek and it stands for love is strength. I got this in remembrance of my brother and everything he went through. And then also this tattoo, if I can show you guys, it's one you guys see a lot. You guys can see there's a ship kind of going through the sky and the sky's all crazy and there's a storm. This is symbolism for my brother. My brother, I've told you the story, has a brain injury. And when somebody has a brain injury and they come out of their coma and they're starting to heal, their body contorts and their muscles kind of like are stiffening up, and they call that storming. So this symbolizes my brother as being the ship riding himself through the storm, through recovery. The inside of the arm, I don't know if you guys can see it, there's like a female and a male with their heads kind of exploded, and there's a timepiece in the middle of it, and then behind them is a tree. So this symbolizes the actual accident of my brother. He was drinking and driving back in 2009, so yeah, 10 years ago, and he hit a tree head on, and that's how he got his brain injury. So this is the female and the male is kind of like my mom and my father, me and my wife, and how time is always on our minds of the healing process. And the time is actually set to the time when he got in the accident in the middle of the night. The tree behind them is symbolizing the tree that he hit. So that's kind of where that tattoo comes from and why it's important to me. The other one on this arm is Old English DJM, my initials as well as my father's initials. And it's done in the Old English Detroit style because that's where I grew up. And I think that's it for the questions that I received for this vlog. So I just want to say thanks, guys, for tuning in. Thank you again for continuing to submit me questions. If you guys want, leave a comment on this video for questions you'd like to see me answer in tomorrow's vlog. I'm going to get back to doing my training now, but I just wanted to make sure I got this done for you guys tonight. So enjoy your evenings. Again, love you guys. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I will talk to you later.